what they've been waiting for.
You already know. Yeah.
At least a certain percentage of the world. Anyway. Can I talk my shit?
Talk that
Sure I
shit.
can.
Talk
Cause
that
ain't nobody
shit.
gonna do nothing
Talk
about it
that
anyway.
shit. Talk that shit. Talk that shit. Say it, talk that.
Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Sports Fiends. I am your host, Rita, aka the NFL Chick.
And it's your man, Uncle Mocha.
And of course, we are giving you the hottest topics of the Baltimore, Maryland, and national region in sports. So let's get it started. Ravens. You said that they were going to beat the Bengals. I said that they weren't. Obviously, you were right, and I'm glad to be wrong. This week, they play the Bears.
Yeah.
How you feeling about it?
Well, do I feel that they turned the corner on that last game? No. On offense, that is. However, the defense did come alive last week. And the one encouraging thing that I did see last week was the play of Ladarius Webb. He's our #1 cornerback, and we will need him this week.
I think that the play of Jimmy Smith actually stood out to me more. I think that he's been the most improved Raven thus far this season. I think that he's stepped up to the challenge. He had a good game this week, and he's had good games leading up to this week, and he's gotten better. He's gotten better and better. I think my biggest issue with Jimmy was that he wouldn't turn his head. He was
Right.
getting pass interference. Now we're starting to see the progression of him doing so.
Right.
I'd still like to see the run game get moving. We
Oh,
know that
God.
that's not going to happen anytime soon because the offensive line just has way too many different people, too many different pieces. But I don't leave out hope. That being said, do the Ravens go into Soldier Field and take out a win?
Yes, but it won't be as distant as I said last week. I said 30-20 Ravens last week. I'm going to say 19-17 Ravens.
I think it's going to be a close game as well. There's no Jay Cutler, even though McCown isn't a guy that you want to look past because he's had a success as a
Right.
Bear, but they had some other injuries. Lance Briggs, I believe, is out as well. I just think that the Ravens are getting healthier and the Bears are getting unhealthy. It's time for them to start winning, and I think that they'll do that today.
So, in saying that, today you heard the big news. Former Ravens safety Ed Reed was signed by the New York Jets for the rest of this season. Again, here's all the talk, next Sunday, the showdown. He makes a return back to where? M&T Bank Stadium. My question is this: how much valuable will Ed Reed be on the Jets defense? Now, let's put this in perspective. He did play for Rex Ryan, and that system he's much more familiar with than the one Wade Phillips was running in Houston. With that being said, though, does it still make a difference?
No, it doesn't. Ed Reed is a Hall of Fame player. I love Ed Reed. We know what he's done. But at 35 years old, he has a nerve impingement that won't allow him to tackle. He's had hip surgeries that won't allow him to swivel his hips to get past with He's 35 years old. It won't allow him, his nerve impingement won't allow him to tackle. His hips won't allow him to move to get with wide receivers and tight ends.
Right.
So he can't keep up speed-wise and he can't tackle. I just can't expect too much from Ed Reed. I think that the best thing that he still has, and that's intact, is his mind. And he has a great football mind. We all
Right.
know that he's probably one of the best generals in the National Football League. But I can't expect him to be what he is because physically he's just so broken down.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he can't bring some type of experience to a secondary that's in need of experience. But I just don't know how much he can contribute on the field. I think that Ed Reed is done. I would have liked to have seen him ride out in the sunset with Ray. But, hey, he wanted to get his last payday. $5 million, 5 games with the Houston Texans. So he's getting paid.
So does he make it through the rest of the season with the Jets?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Rex is his boy. You know what I mean? I think that he does. I think that the camaraderie there will keep him there. But other than that, there's only 7 games left in the season. Why not? I mean, these days.
And just a little nugget for y'all. This actually happened 2 years ago to Derek Mason. And coincidentally, the same 2 teams, only Derek started out with the Jets, then was released and then signed with the Texans. and then was released from them. But he made 2 trips back to Baltimore. So I coincidentally is with Ed Reed this time.
And it doesn't make a difference. I don't think that November the 24th means anything. Ed Reed coming back here, means nothing. We've already celebrated him once. I think that the fans will do it again because they love Ed Reed. But once the game starts, I don't think it matters. I don't think he has that much of an impact. Although he knows Joe Flacco very well, he doesn't know Marlon Brown well. And so, Dallas Clark.
Right.
It's a whole different group of people that you've seen from last year. So I don't think it has an impact.
Well, speaking of celebrating, let's talk about the star-studded Tavon Austin, straight from Baltimore, fresh out of Dunbar High School, who had an amazing game this past weekend. 3 touchdowns, 1 98-yard punt return, and then 2 receptions for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, let me just ask you this. My question is, what took so long? And I'm not even saying it was him. My issue is with the offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer. But maybe it's something that I'm saying because I feel as though he finally used him the way Tavon should have been used.
I think it's both. I think that Brian Schottenheimer didn't know how to use a guy like Tavon. He's not very tall, but he's fast. He's dynamic, but you just don't really know. He's a Percy Harvin type of guy.
Right.
You don't really know how to utilize him very well, but you know that he's a playmaker, and you want to get him on the field. And I think in the beginning they just were trying to put him in situations where they thought that he would contribute, and he didn't right away. I also think that Tavon is still a rookie, and he has growing pains as well. So this isn't West Virginia where they ran a certain style of offense. This is the NFL, and I think that it took him a minute to kind of get it. I can only hope, and I think that this breakout game that he just had, will allow him to get more comfortable as an NFL player. I think that, he's gone through the motions with learning the system and learning how to be an NFL player. And I think that sometimes you need a game like that that'll give you the confidence to say, this is all what I've been waiting for. This is my moment. So he had his moment. A lot of people got rid of him on fantasy, I believe, the week before. And
Beans.
Beans, you did wrong, because then he made you pay for it. So, he's a guy that I'm sure people picked up off waivers this week. And I just think that Tavon really will get the ball rolling. What do you think?
I think he will get the ball rolling. I mean, he was a dynamic player. It looked like he was playing Dunbar out there this past Sunday. I mean, it just took us to the flashback, and the reason why the Rams traded up and selected him 8th overall in the draft last year. I think this is a sign of more things to come. I think the Rams know that this is their best opportunity to finally get an offense going with a defense that's actually playing well. With Quinn and Long. And I mean, they have other pieces along that defense. So if they could just develop a consistent offense, they can compete in that NFC West.
Absolutely, but they can't do that right now, I believe, because Sam Bradford isn't there. Kellen Clemens is going to be a backup quarterback. He's not going to be the type of guy that you're really looking for to make a push. But that doesn't mean they can't play spoiler and make people think that they're a possible playoff team. So big ups to Tavon. We salute you. We're glad that you had your great game finally.
Now we're going to introduce something here that we're going to be starting every week. Being that we are sports fiends, that means that we got to have somebody that overdose for the week. So we got our first overdose player of the week. And that goes to none other than Los Angeles Clippers forward Matt Barnes. If you didn't know, yesterday there was an altercation with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Los Angeles Clippers in which Blake Griffin and Serge Ibaka got entangled up. And after the play, after a little shoving, Matt Barnes came over there and shoved Ibaka. Well, Ibaka was tossed along with Matt Barnes. So I'm going to read you this tweet that Matt Barnes tweeted. He didn't wait till after the game. He tweeted this after he was ejected during the game. He says, and for all intents and purposes, for kids watching, we apologize for any language you may hear. I love my teammates like family, but I'm done standing up for these niggas. All this shit does is cost me money. Really, dude? That he went and overdosed. He lost his mind. Now the funny thing is he got ejected from that game. And he talking about losing money. He didn't even lose money from getting ejected. He cost $25,000 just for this tweet. What do you think about that?
When will people learn that the N-word is not cool because other people can't use the N-word and they feel some type of way about it, and so because they can't say it, none of us can say it. So it's Matt Barnes got to be smarter. I dig Matt Barnes because you can tell he's a passionate guy.
He has heart.
And he has heart. But he went in overdose because he rolled with his emotions, not only in getting into it with back on the field, on the court, excuse me, but then tweeting this during the game. You can't do that, dude. You are just way too professional and you should know better. The NBA, like the NFL, they love to find people for every single reason imaginable. And using the N-word while you're supposed to be on the sideline is not what's up, dude. You gotta do better.
Bro, you overdose. And always remember, even you may be thinking this, but don't put it out there too that you ain't got your teammates back off this incident. But this is all we have for this week's episode of Sports Fiends. Be sure to tune in to us next week as we bring you the hottest sports topics in addition to the local sports in your area. I'm your man, Uncle Mooka. You can follow me at Uncle Mooka on Instagram.
I am Rita, the NFL Chick. You can follow me at the NFL Chick, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. This is 1729mag.com.
Come back for your picks next week.
Go Ravens.
Talk that shit. Talk that shit. Say it. Talk that shit.
Tell the way I stack my money. Something else. Nah, I ain't one of them dummies. Something else. Trades, nicks, dimes, and 20s. Something else. The way I get it in with the honeys. Something else. You know I love the style on your blue 40 caliber. Butterfly doors on the triple black Challenger.